Alright, this is my next solar project. I'm getting ready to button up and install it inside the motorhome. Put it together outside. Just make sure it works. Then I gotta run cables. But I got 12 volt iPo 4 battery. Oh, not 12 volt, 24 volt. I got my MPPT controller, but I bought it with the solar and wind, so it comes with the brake. Right now it's only controlled, hooked up to solar. I don't know if anybody can see that, but it's charging. So it's going to power up my battery. There's a 110 outlet or output on it. I can put a plug in if I want. But I ended up buying this, it's reliable, WZRELB reliable, 3500 watts pulse sine wave inverter. And what is nice about this, because I just installed the 5,000 watt inside the house with 48 volt batteries. What's nice about it is this will create the split phase 240. You got to make sure if you're going to do the house, especially in America, it's split phase. You get the L1, L2, the neutral and the ground. A lot of people don't realize this, but if you don't do the neutral, you're going to get one leg full 220, 240, whatever. So you always want to make sure you get the neutral. And the ground's necessary too, but I'm just telling you, without a neutral, you're going to get this, the European 240. You can plug something into this, and this will get 240 also. But you got to be really leery of the fact that that will plug, 110 male plug will go inside there, and it's coming out as 240. So I would probably advise taping that up, putting something over the cover or whatever, and then a little sticky note or something, permanent note, what it actually does. I got this inside, this 5,000 watt one, hooked up to another panel. So it goes from my National Grid panel coming in the house over to my automatic transfer switch for a generator. And then my inverter inside the house does it both. It recognizes generator, National Grid input, and battery. And my battery is number one. Is it battery runs out of power, say sometime during the night, which it hasn't yet. And this is winter time, we're not getting much sun. It'll automatically switch over to the National Grid. If that goes out, the generator automatically starts. And then I get power from the generator. From the generator, National Grid kicks back on, generator kicks off, battery charges back up. That'll knock the National Grid off and it'll go back to solar power. This is where I got it hooked up in my motorhome. And again, this is all temporary because it was winter and we're just finally getting some warm days so I can permanently run the wires, cables. That's the WZRELB MPPT 40 amp. This one here will do 24 to 48 volt, 12 volt, 24, 36, 48 volt batteries. Automatically recognizes it, and that's tied in to where that inverter there would be, and that's still on, but it's not plugged into the 220. And this has been like this for well over a month, in some of the nastiest days of the winter where we're not getting much sun. And then this is the automatic transfer switch that does the, because this motorhome has a 6,000 watt diesel generator. So when I plug this into National Grid or the side outlet for my house or at the RV park, the solar panel will actually produce power first. If the power goes out from the batteries, then it'll automatically switch over to the plug in my house or at the RV park. If that goes out, the generator automatically starts. And then it goes back the same way as I had it for what's in my house. Is the same units as is here. The only thing different that I got outside, which is going to be for my RV also, but this will be outside of everything. This isn't going to be mounted inside like you see the cable I got going up to the roof for my solar. I got 3 bifacial solar panels, so they charge from the front and the back at the same time. So the sun passes through, hits the white roof, reflects back, and charges the back of the solar panel. So that's how the bifacial ones work. This one here will be for my outside camping. If I need a 220, whatever, I might need 220 or not. Even if I don't, like I said, it's got 2 110 outlets. So I can plug 4 things into that. Now, when I get my wind turbine hooked up, and I had it one time in Arizona. You don't get much wind in Arizona, but other places, especially here in New York, the wind will help out. So when the sun goes down, for some reason, if the battery dies and it's slightly windy, the solar or the wind turbine will kick on. I'm going to utilize these 200 watt solar panels that a very windy day blew off my house. And we get really a lot of wind here on the escarpment, and so I took these down, and I've had these over 10 years and they're still producing, I would say, almost 95% power for what I need. And I also have the Jackery, what is it, the V2, I think, the DJI 1000, and the EcoFlow Delta 1000. If I just need to be, a quick jump in the car, we want to go somewhere for a picnic or whatever, and power up my radio, my fridge, my portable fridge, etc., just for a day trip. There's a small wind turbine I'm going to use for the motorhome. I might even put it up for temporary, mount it on the side of the deck. That way, if the sun, etc., goes down, battery starts to die, there's a little bit of wind, it'll power up the battery. And then I got my permanent wind turbine, and it's not really a windy day, so it's not turning at all. But that goes directly into the grid, where it produces a 110 power, 220, plugged it in. As long as there's electricity, it produces power, and then it'll power up all my welders, etc., etc. If you look up there, you'll see on the roof, the first 4 panels are tied directly into the house. They're producing the, I believe it's 220 volts going into the house. As long as there's electricity, it senses, it'll produce power. If the electricity goes out, it stops, so it doesn't send it onto the line, so the lineman or whoever's working gets electrocuted. You see with the 2 panels I have in my trailer, blew off the bottom part. I still have 2 above it and 2 next to it, so there's 4 on the right, and then there's another 2, and then 2 on the top. Those 4 are tied together, and they go directly into my house to another MPPT Bouge RV1, and another transfer switch, which powers up a 5,000 watt reliable inverter. I've been running just about everything off of those and haven't lost power. TV, fridge, air conditioning, furnace, etc. So it's working fine. And since the panel in the motorhome's in the front there, that's where all my electrical stuff is for the inverters, and the back panel here is where the battery is for the starting the coach. The 2 6-volt for 12 volts is underneath the steps in the doorway. So right above the doorway there's an opening that would be for if I had a satellite dish or something. So I'll feed those red and black wires up through there onto the roof to my panels and mount them permanently up there. Right now, like I said, it's temporary. I didn't want to do anything until I made sure everything was working. I gave the one in the motorhome in the house a good month to make sure everything was working, nothing failed. So now I feel confident to install them permanently. Along with the help of my buddy Maxwell, should be no problem once it gets warm. Sunny as it is, it's still cold. My fingers are freezing. I don't like wearing gloves. But that's what I'll have. So I'll have the 3 bifacial panels on top of the motorhome. Like I said, they charge front and back. Since the motorhome is a solid roof painted white, the reflection off the roof will give it the charge from the back as the sun goes through the front, hits the motorhome roof, bounces back up, charges the back. So you're getting the 2 sides charging. The ones on the roof and these 2 panels here are only front facing, so they don't charge from the back. You can't see through these. The one up the roof on the motorhome, you can see through them. It's just like wearing, if you're looking through them, it almost looks like sunglasses. When you're looking through, you can see what's behind it. So I get done, like I said, that wind turbine will be mounted temporary. It's got a little stand, but it's got to be high enough so when it's turning, it doesn't hit anybody in the head. When I was in Arizona, I mounted it to the, well, I didn't have this, I had a 5th wheel. I mounted it to the stairs on the back, secured it, put rubber mounts on it so it didn't vibrate inside the 5th wheel. So I'll do something similar to this. All this is temporary. I mean, I don't have to use the wind turbine, and I don't have to use the solar panel, or I can use them both. They both recognize it, and who's ever making the most charge will power up the battery. Just needed the wind turbine for at nighttime in case we were boondocking or something like that. So that's about it. It's easy. I mean, I'm an electrician and an instrumentation mechanic, but seriously, anybody that has delved into automotive electric, it's basically that. Until you get into that reliable inverter, the black box there on the ground, and that will produce 220. So you got to be careful of that. And what I'll probably end up doing, I don't know if anybody saw that, but I put electrical tape over it for now. But when I'm not using it, I'll make myself a little plastic thing that I can connect over there so somebody doesn't stick their fingers in there or the dog licks it. Whatever. There's always something that could happen, you know. Alright. It's my story. I'm sticking to it.